is more like Wii Sports. It's a variety of different type of game, mini games. So you get to ride light cycles, throw discs, battle in Tron tanks, all these different type of mini games. So we were able to do concept art that showed a lot of different areas of the Tron universe that you wouldn't typically see in the film or even the console game. So how we did that was we look at the actor. This is Olivia Wilde's character Cora from the film. So we'd look at what that actor looks like in the film, and we'd do a bunch of different drawings. The character would go through some evolution, and then we'd eventually come up with this concept of what she looks like in the cartoon world. After the concept was approved by both Disney and the directors of the film, it eventually went to the character modeler, where they would model out the 3D character, and we'd do a 3D model sheet. All of our characters in Tron had a full facial rig animation, so they were very believable. This is a concept that I did of one of our player models. You could choose both male or female as your player, and you could customize your character to look as close to yourself as you possibly could. So these are all concepts that I did to show our character modeler the variety of the faces that we want to have in our game. We had 8 different head geometries that you could pick from, and then within those head geometries you could switch the skin color, you could switch hair color, and even once you kind of progress through the game, you could get options to even put facial tattoos and a couple other facial feature options on to really make yourself look as close as you can in the cartoon world anyway. One of the other really cool things that we got to do by expanding on the franchise is create all new vehicles that you wouldn't see in the film. So the Wii game probably has the majority of changes across the franchise with what we've offered to the world, the Tron world anyway. We had 7 different light cycles that you could choose from. There were new designs that weren't seen in the movie. We had 7 tanks and 7 light runner vehicles. We called them light buggies in our game, or outrunners. So one of the other things I did was established user interface design. So these are all the elements that you interact with during your gameplay experience. And I would do these examples in Photoshop, and we had a user interface technical artist who would then take the designs that I did and replicate them in Adobe Flash. We used Flash and Scaleform as our middleware to do our user interface for the game, and these were all interactive with the Wiimote cursor. So you could point the cursor at the screen and select all these elements. I also did a lot of icon design in button states. These all help establish the user experience and what you'll be interacting with and what button states mean. These all went back to our user interface artists who would implement these changes and make sure that the look of the UI is all cohesive. These examples are color keys. So we had 6 cinematic sequences that were non-interactive, like small movies that went into the game. And what we did is storyboards that would then turn into these color keys. And what these helped us establish is the color language we were using throughout the scenes. Because we didn't have red, it was very challenging to come up with a palette that would be interesting to look at, but still feel like Tron and not get too boring as you play the game. So these were very important, and they helped establish the look of each one of our cinematics. So as we finish them and they go through to final production, we know what they should look like, and these also helped Disney understand what these scenes would look like and give us approvals. So this is a typical workflow for doing a storyboard. We would then take that storyboard and rough out, or what we call block out the animation. We used 3D Studio Max as our software in Motion Builder. For mostly animators used Motion Builder on this project. And they would block out the animation. We'd then turn that into a workbook format. And what this workbook did is helped us keep track of the progression of the scenes and how the production's going. So in this workbook page, you're seeing the script notes. You're also seeing all the different departments that are involved. Since this was an interactive game we were making, we had code, design, animation, our world builders or modelers, effects, and even technical art involved in creating one of these scenes. A lot of different elements went in. A lot of times code wouldn't have too much to do, but we had real-time post effects that happened, and in this one, the only thing that code programming was responsible for was making sure that our depth of field worked. And if all that stuff came together, then we'd end up with a finished scene that looked like this. This was taken out of the game, so this is not pre-rendered out of a software. This is straight from the Nintendo Wii. And then this is what the finished product looks like.
There's too many of them! How many more of them can there be?